lot of people in this room remember the flooding here in 2008. I'm sure you haven't forgotten Hurricane Sandy. So in the wake of all that, what do you think the conservative Republican response to climate change should be?
Listen, I've said this before. I think climate change is real, and I think that humans contribute to it. Now, the thing I don't know is how much. And so I think what we've done in New Jersey, for instance, is I don't believe a carbon tax is the way to deal with this. I don't believe cap and trade is the way to deal with this. That's just another liberal democratic excuse to tax us. And in New Jersey, we were part, when I became governor, of something called the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. That was a cap and trade plan for the entire Northeast that every state voluntarily agreed to. When I became governor, I pulled this out of it. Because I said it's increasing energy costs in our state, and we're not getting any yield from this. I'm not doing it. We've done other things. For instance, 53% of New Jersey's electricity is generated by nuclear power. 53%. That helps your carbon footprint and what you're emitting. Do you know that New Jersey, you'll find this hard to believe, New Jersey is the third largest producer of solar energy in America, behind only California and Arizona. We invested in it. And private folks saw there was a benefit to investing in it, so they invested in it. And now, we have the third largest production of solar power in the country, again, a clean energy. We have now built 3 new natural gas-fired energy plants. We're in the process now of building them. That's going to help too, because natural gas emits lower pollution. With all that being said, no cap and trade, none of that stuff, we have already in New Jersey reached the goals for 2020 in terms of our emissions. In 2015, they're already achieved. You can do this through the smart use of energy around the country. Each state should have the ability to make that decision. And I don't know, nor has anybody else proven to my satisfaction, that it is climate change that is causing some of these storms. I don't know what it is. And I haven't seen anything, at least at this point, that's definitive to me that it was climate change that caused Superstorm Sandy. But what I will tell you about Superstorm Sandy and the floods that you had here 7 years ago in Cedar Rapids is this, and I had a conversation with your mayor about this today. We need to have somebody in the Oval Office who actually understands what happens to a community when this stuff happens. It's 7 years now since your floods, and you're still rebuilding back. And you're still in disputes with the federal government. And they're still arguing with you about whether they're going to build or not build the flood mitigation programs that need to be built to prevent this. And by the way, can we stop this 100-year storm stuff? 300-year storm, 800-year storm. I've had 300-year storms since I've been governor. I've been governor for 5.5 years. Like, let's stop this stuff. This is all stuff just to make us feel better. But we live it, right? And I said to the mayor today, you know, if I were president, I would say we've got to build these infrastructure projects that are going to prevent more damage in the future and make us more resilient. And so if there's a smart, good plan here in Cedar Rapids from the Army Corps of Engineers to make you more resilient for the next flood that we know will come. We pray it won't come anytime soon, but we know. Our experience tells us it will come. The same way on the New Jersey coastline, I know. Another storm will come at some point. I hope and pray it won't be anything like Sandy, because we lost 365,000 homes in 24 hours. It was the second worst natural disaster in American history behind Katrina. And we're still rebuilding. We're almost 3 years now. And your experience here in Cedar Rapids will tell everybody that it takes a lot longer than 3 years to rebuild for this kind of thing. And so part of this is, I think we've got to be smart about investing in infrastructure. And that's not just rebuilding roads and bridges and tunnels around the country, which we need to do. But we also need to go to these communities where repetitive flooding occurs and say, let's not be penny wise and pound foolish. Because New Jersey sustained $36 billion in damage in one day. Shouldn't we, and you know what it's going to cost us to build an entire dune system, which we're in the process of doing now, which had been authorized by Congress 30 years earlier, but never funded. It's going to cost us about $1 billion to to build a dune system from Cape May all the way up to the Bay Shore, about 120 miles of dunes. But in the places where we had dunes on the time of Sandy, the damage was significantly less, and in some places almost non-existent. So shouldn't we spend $1 billion to prevent $36 billion in damage? We need to be smart about some of this stuff. And I can tell you that I never really truly understood this until I went through it. And I think we need to have people in leadership who truly understand this. You know, it's like some of our friends in Congress, right? You know, we've seen this, right? We had Congress people in Colorado who voted against Sandy relief. And then they got floods in Colorado. And they said, hey, we need some relief. We have Senator Cruz voted against Sandy relief. Now he says he's got floods in Texas. He says, hey, we need some help down here in Texas. It's great, right? People get religion real quick. Right? All of a sudden, the principled vote that I'm making here on the floor of the United States Senate is I'm not going to spend this kind of money on this kind of thing unless it happens in my state. And if it does, it's an absolutely appropriate expenditure of money. Come on. Come on. That's why people wanted me to take shots at the Colorado people and at Senator Cruz on all this stuff. I'm not going to. They said, shouldn't he not get the money? No, he should. Because what's more important is not his hypocrisy. It's the people of his state who are suffering and their communities that need to be rebuilt. And what the American people know is this. When a disaster strikes, everybody in America answers the call. I saw that in New Jersey. We had people come to New Jersey from all over America, to come and help us. My wife ran a private charity to raise money for Hurricane Sandy relief. She raised $40 million from around the country that went directly to help rebuild and help victims. Americans respond to other Americans, not just through charity, but also through our tax dollars. We say to people, if Americans are suffering and in pain out of no fault of their own, we come and help them because we know they're, for the grace of God, go I. Some of those guys in Congress forgot about that, but something happens to them, right, when they get to Washington. Just something happens to them. I don't know what it is. I hope never to find out. They get up to Capitol Hill and say, oh God, it's the water or what it is, but something happens. They remember certain things conveniently and forget other things conveniently. But that shouldn't change what we need to do as a people. We need to be there for each other. This country needs to be there for each other. And we need to start putting aside the partisanship. That's why I was teasing. But, you know, I live in hope when I hear a Democrat here today who says, you know what? This country, there's significant enough problems that affect my family. I need to consider voting for the person, not the party.